Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Lucid, and we've got another turn here in Mountain Arena. Last episode was pretty exciting. The throne rush was averted. We have a message from Micklin. What an exciting turn. Yomi clearly did not anticipate Ocelotls would be what he'd be fighting. In my limited testing, I'd lost a few dozen Ocelotl had he kept his Dione bunched up. I probably wasted 20 nature and a couple rings of wizardry turns, bringing the gnome, but better safe than sorry is the name of the game when opposing throne rushes. That's the truth. Thanks to Lanka for committing to the magic phase attack, I suggested on 11 to cut off the retreat for the 3 surviving Dione. Oh, I didn't notice that. So all the Dione died there. I think there were 8 and he had killed 5. Though Yomi claims some of the additional Dione were supposed to reinforce, and I'd perhaps have killed those instead. This throne rush will be a diplomatic shift for me. I had a nap one with Agartha. I've decided to end the nap with the attack orders permitted this turn and plan to take the Golden Throne and the rest of the Agarthan territory east of it. There are consequences for having an empty fort in one's throne bordering a player with 4 thrones already. Hopefully the gains will make up whatever negative consequences I suffer for removing most of my Ocelotl from the TNC front. Okay. So that's very good. Micklin has seen... there's a big tendency for people to be cautious when they need to be aggressive. And there's a big penalty for being aggressive when you need to be cautious. And I think, at least in my estimation, Micklin has correctly sussed out that it's time to be aggressive now. He's going to... eat some of this Agarthan stuff, which he is phrased as punishment for Agartha not keeping an army here to protect it from Yomi. Meanwhile, Yomi asked for a return to peace with his rush thwarted, and I'm pretty sure he has no way of defending the Niflheim area from me should I choose to press my advantage. But I also think having an ally who will force TNC to split his military power is more important than the land's limited income right now. So I've agreed to a deal where he cedes the Throne of Air and the 2 provinces just south of it in exchange for returning to our NAP 3. If Yomi looks like he's dying, it's not like anyone else can vulture that land. Since I don't entirely trust Yomi to not try for a 6th throne in the meantime, I'm putting all the siege strength I can into the Throne of Air, including a cast of carry-on reanimation and rehiring Helmet's sappers, in case it matters how quickly I crack it. Okay. Also, I was a little shocked on how little I lost in the battle on top of the Throne of Air in 53. When I saw there were 250 troops there, including 100 Kooni in Turmoil 3, I got pretty worried. Wait, did we miss that? Let's go back and check the previous turn. I might have missed something. Okay, this is the battle. We actually saw it. It was a decent amount of Kooni, but I don't think they had any buffs on them, and it was just them in... I mean, they were in Turmoil 3, but I think that's it. And he had, like, Falling Frost, which is really good against Kooni. Ravenous Swarm, too. Yeah, I don't think that's surprising. Kooni are pretty good, but they do kind of need buffs, especially if you've got big area of effect things. Anyway, let's go back to turn 62. All right, turn 62. And out of the news, I apparently accidentally sent the Eternal Pyrecaster as my Holy 3 to lead that party. Incredibly sloppy, as I had another priest and the same high priest in the same province. I really wish they displayed globals on the unit cards. It's not a bad idea. Okay, Micklin attacking. Let's see if we have any big battles here, and we'll look at it. What it's looking like is we have Agartha attacking Lanka, and a lot of people attacking. So basically it's Lanka and Yomi getting attacked primarily. Agartha losing another adept to the Golden Order. Yeah, this is painful. So yeah, Agartha takes... I mean, Micklin takes this throne from Agartha. And this sucks, because this was Agartha's kind of like, if you will, first war, right? Like, they started fighting TNN, but they had a ceasefire, and then Agartha came down to take this. Well, good luck reinforcing this position, right? And meanwhile, all of Agartha's stuff is over there in Micklin. So, yikes. You know, feels bad because Agartha sent all their stuff down here, and it's nowhere near where it needs to be to defend all of this stuff. And Lanka's mostly killed all of this. Now, you know, was this the right move or wrong move? Well, it depends. If Agartha was taking forts over here, eating Micklin's stuff, which he might have done if his stuff had been, you know, extremely well scripted or what have you, it might have been the right move because now he'd be in a good position. But, ooh, this looks like a transformation cast. Very cool. But yeah, so it's gonna be real tough. Real tough for Agartha. If we take a look at Yomi's position, this is the Throne of Air, which Micklin's going to be taking, which strangely enough hasn't popped. Oh, he did Iron Walls on it. So that, him doing Iron Walls means... Did he mention that? Yeah, I'm not sure. This is the wizard tower that he put up on this other throne he took. I mean, he's still sitting at 5 thrones, so he can maybe still swing a 6th. The golden throne Micklin just took. I don't think he has any other... Let's take a look, see if there's any play he can make to get another throne. And he has to hold this one if he's going to do a throne rush still. Maybe come and take this one? There's not a lot of options now, I don't think, unless he has some other sneaky shade mail business, which I think is going to be tough. So yeah, I mean, Iron Walls here is going to delay Micklin taking it for a good number of turns, but I don't think it's going to matter. Now let's go ahead and go to the next turn. Turn 63. So yeah, anyway, it looks like this is the new border between Micklin and Yomi. And, I mean, Yomi still has a position. Yomi's not out of the game like Agartha is. But I think the other thing, like that we were saying, the players to profit are going to be TNN, potentially on Agartha, and then Lanka on Agartha, and Micklin on Agartha. And I don't see a lot of positive movement from Lanka. Like, I think Lanka's actually, like, down in provinces a little bit this turn. Like, he's chasing this around, didn't re-raid this. Lanka thought Agartha was going to go back on top of their capital and defended that, but moved a bunch of stuff out here. Okay, so what we can expect this turn is Lanka to come over here and take this fort. And maybe raid this. So, okay, even though Lanka didn't necessarily have a lot of traction this turn, potentially we may see it in the next turn. Also, interestingly, this army, because it has magma kids, if it wants to stay together, can't go here, so it's either going to go to one of these 3 provinces again. So anyway, that's interesting. Let's go ahead and check out the next turn. We'll speed through these. All right, turn 63, message from Lanka. So I don't think I've ever guessed Agartha's moves correctly. The one time I caught his army was when I was trying to move out of the way of where I thought it was going to consolidate. So that was dumb luck. I'm trying to intercept him, though, but we'll see if it works. He could sit on my cap again, which would be super annoying, but such is life. The war with Agartha has cost me a ton of economy. He's killed most of my patrol chaff I had around my capital, wrecked my blood operation. In addition, he's made me pull a ton of mages into the field. I have around 60 mages outside of labs at the moment, and I'm falling way behind in research. I don't really know how I can keep decent research and finish the war with Agartha. If it takes 10 turns to march to Agartha's cap, that's 10 turns of lost research for 3 dozen mages when people are hitting 9s. Yuck. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. It's kind of like... Yeah, I think that's basically a very good summary. He's going to need a lot of mages to win this war with Agartha. He needs to win a war with Agartha, or... Like, I don't think you turn on Micklin right now. I mean, maybe you do. So, but I think you just... I think you have to follow through. I don't think you back out. I think you have to finish that war. Oh my goodness. We have Lanka doing some cool shit. We've got a Dakini flying in. Both great swords of sharpness. This one with a lifelong protection. Now, Ettins sometimes have a grab and swallow attack. I think it must have gotten removed or something when you fill up the the hands with weapons. But yeah, they've got 3 arms. Maybe I'm thinking of a different unit. Maybe it's the Ogre Sorcerer or something. Oh, so the Dakini's landed here, but she's being hit by a snake bladder stick. She has poison resistance, but we can see there's already some poison tags on her. Oh my gosh. Yeah, snake bladder stick is strong. Kills the Dakini. It's a bit of a zinger. All right, so let's come back through and keep checking. Okay, so that was this battle. Lanka, this is moving on top of that Agarthan port we were just talking about. Oh my goodness. Oh, so Agartha moves across the river. He splits up the magma kids. I was saying you wouldn't expect this move from Agartha because he would have to keep the magma kids with it. Well, he's decided to split them. And looks like he's going to get the opportunity to clear out a lot more Lankan chaff. And I doubt he loses hardly anything. Yeah, 2 Ancient Ones and a Seal Guard. Another 100 Lankan chaff down. And this chaff is, you know, on one hand, it's not of huge military value, but it's really important, as Lanka was mentioning, for driving his blood economy. And Agartha attacking Micklin here with the mostly mages. What is he doing with these? Does he have gems on them? Is the most important question. Okay, some earth gems. Some earth gems, so we might see some earth elemental spam. Yeah, and maybe Howl. So I think it's going to be like Earth Elementals and Howl. But he's also going to catch a lot of his own mages on fire with these magma kids. He really has to stop doing that. Oh my god, these Aussies are terrifying. Yeah, it's too many Aussies. Oh my god, there's even more. I mean, this is exactly what you want. Aussies trading with mages. That's almost 20 dead mages for the cost of 9 Aussies. And 30 magma kids. I mean, that is a disaster. You know, could this have worked? Stormstaff, maybe. You really, by this point in the game, to fight a Micklin army, you really... Stormstaffs, are, I would say, are very close to necessary. It's possible with the big Agarthan army you can kill it, but... There's 90 Aussies. Yeah, Micklin just... So much profit. Alright, he's got a Stormstaff here on this guy. Oh, on this dude. Strange, because he'll just get yeeted. Maybe he retreats him? Stormstaff, I think you want that on the actual Dione, though. Oh, but he wants Berserk on the Dione. So this is the thing, like, he's trying to cover all these weaknesses. He needs MR so he doesn't get Soul Slayed. You know, he needs to go Berserk so he doesn't rout. He needs a Bloodthorn so that he can power Phoenix Pyre, Fatigue Loss. You know, there's just so many things. And, you know, where's he going to have the hands for a Stormstaff? The answer is he's not. But he probably will kill a decent amount of chaff just from the explosions. Some Hawks, some Long Dead. But most likely donated all this gear, including the Stormstaff, to Micklin. Ooh, man, things going really heavily in Micklin's favor. Take a look at the score graph. I think we're going to see that. Yeah, Micklin back in position 1. Yomi's in position 2, but it's a tenuous hold. Because just all the momentum is in Lanka's favor, Micklin's favor, you know. And he's done, like, Yomi's lost so much gear in terms of gems. He's lost so much. And a lot of that's been donated directly to Micklin. Though I think for one of those battles, there wasn't anybody to pick up the gear from the dead Dione. Yeah, so that's brutal. The good news is it looks like Tirnanog has moved back in on the offensive against Agartha. Unfortunately, they're doing it slowly, right? You know what I was saying? They need to be hitting like 5 provinces at a time. Well, they've just hit 1, and they haven't even popped it. So, bit of a zinger. They also doesn't look like they're going to go on Yomi at all, which I think is a fine call. There's a decent army inside this throne. But I'm a little disappointed with the volume of attacks on the Agarthan territory. But here you can see Lanka has popped this fort. They've raided this. And presumably they're going to be coming over here to this fort in a turn or two. Yeah, and they've managed to clean all of this up. And then there's just this one random Agarthan army, which we can call it deep raiding. I'm going to call it stuck. It's stuck inside of Lanka's territory, and it desperately needs to find a way to get out. The problem is, they need to get most of this army. Where did the magma kids go? Oh, they were left here. Oh, they dissolved without magic leadership. You want to leave at least one commander with them. Like this Earth Reader, I think you leave him behind. Because they would have won this battle. And instead, that you'll watch here, they just dissolved. So, yeah, I think he should have left a mage here. But, you know, this army, you've got to get it to this lake. That is the operation. Like, get them the fuck out of here, right? So, you can't move here if you know this army's here, because this is going to get patrolled. I think the best move is to move them here and take this out. And once you have this, you've got pretty much a free ticket here. Now, knowing that, a good move by Lanka would be to split this army, take this province back, might as well, and defend this. If you can defend both of these. And then you'll catch this, you know. And you actually do want to intercept this army, because this army is going to be one of the main things defending this region of territory for Agartha, which is what Lanka is planning on eating over the next few turns. So intercepting this here would be pretty nice for them. And I think that's it. I think that's it for this turn. Notably, TNG has just not done anything. They are extremely quiet. Oh. This looks like it's Yomi's last play at a Throne Rush. He's bringing his god even. Ooh, very spicy. And almost certainly cast Crumble on it, but it's a wizard tower. Nothing's going to happen. I wonder if this was... Let's go check last turn. I wonder if this was a new wizard tower. Yeah, this is just 2 turns ago. This is turn 61, and it was not forted. Let me go to 62. All right, so 62, yeah, not forted. So he did Magic Phase fort it the turn that Yomi went and Magic Phase attacked it. So, looking at it, this was Yomi's last shot at going for thrones. He had his god here. He was set up almost certainly to Magic Phase fort this, but Tianchi did it first. Now, even though it's a wizard tower, because this got moved on the same turn, basically because that happened, the fact that it has 1,000 wall integrity doesn't matter. But it has siege defense, as I was mentioning. And the siege attack of 2 Dione, a god, and this isn't enough. This isn't enough. So, you know, if he had cast Arouse Hunger here in addition, he might have just been over the threshold. This fort's probably sitting at like 10 wall integrity or something right now. Well, now TNG is going to get to just wind up and knock this group off. You know, he can gateway stuff in. He can do a bunch of things. I don't think it's going to work. Meanwhile, is Micklin ready to pop this Throne of Air? They are. So if Yomi would have gotten this turn, this turn from TNG, which he didn't, but he might have it next turn, but he's going to get knocked off. If he had, well, it might have been game, but it looks like Micklin has popped this throne, the Throne of Air, from Yomi. And even though he had cast Iron Walls on it. And what that is going to mean is I don't think even if it had worked there with Tianchi, this would have worked. And a lot of this was Micklin's kind of good spider senses. The Yomi was still going for the throne rush. And he committed just a tremendous amount of siege attack here to take this fort, even though it had iron walls on it. Which iron walls adds a ton of siege defense. So, well played on Micklin. Nice try for Yomi because I think after you take that big of a beating, you do probably need to try to finish the throne rush. It's going to be very hard for Yomi to win traditionally now, but it's going to be even harder if you lose your god into Dione. So, I guess like when you're all in, you're all in. I mean, this guy is super committed to the throne rush now. Like it's going to be so painful if he loses. So yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's it for this turn. Let's see if anything happens. I'm kind of interested to see what Yomi does now that this has kind of failed. We'll do one more turn. Let's pull up 64. All right, we've got 64 here. A message from Micklin. Well, I was right to not trust Yomi. They're continuing the throne rush attempt. Not surprising, given that I don't see how they can win, if not in a throne rush at this phase in the game. Well, I mean, they're positioned too. It's not extremely hard to imagine in terms of provinces, right? But, I mean, their position is far eroded, but I don't think it's impossible. Assuming Yomi's throne rush continues to be thwarted, I need a plan to not just survive, but win the game. My attention is on storming the Throne of Air this turn, but I think I'm now just at war with Yomi, though still sending 8 fire a turn for their share of Eternal Pyre, and plan to take the Niflheim region and then march on the Ubar area. If that succeeds, I'll have 4 thrones. I don't feel that I'm on the clock to win, but I expect borders to be very fluid, given that Agartha looks to be on their way out, and I need to decide where to concentrate my assets. One option is to fight Lanka Tianchi for 122, 114. Aiming for 1 throne there is appealing because I have a standing army there, and I can just march it wherever, whichever one seems more vulnerable at the time. Though I think my bless involves avoiding the fight with Tianchi Doomstack altogether. Beyond that, the Throne of Water at 51 is appealing. Since it's within flying range of my border, it is valuable for my bless if claimed, and because I don't think Tien and Agartha can seriously resist quickened Aussies with weapons of sharpness. I'll have to hope that Agartha holds Lanka in their capital region for a few more turns so that I have the option to slip past without fighting Lanka. I finally got Blood 6 this turn and have shifted Bloodslave spending to Tamitsil. It's possible I'd be better off putting Bloodslaves into Aussies, but they're more useful in demonic cleansing battles where most of my army is mortal sacreds. And summoning them is limited by my access to Moon Priests. My next research targets are Blood 7, Blood 8, so I'll probably not accumulate more than a few dozen before pivoting into other summons. I need at least 1 Vampire Lord to use in order to use my enchantment discount site, and a large bank of death gems to spam liches. A Nonkui might be nice for free spawn, but I mainly want Reign of Jaguar so that I can make Aussies much faster than 3 per cast. Okay. So Micklin attacking Yomi here. So this is now a lot. This is probably 250-ish Kooni. Now he's got Will of Fates. Will of Fates is not great against a ton of chip damage like we would see against from Kooni. But we've got a bunch of Ethereal, which is pretty good. Oh, some of the Aussies have landed in the back. These guys are going to get butchered. Now, one of the things with Kooni is you can't really script them. Now, they're going to do what they're going to do. They're very killy. Fortunately for Micklin, these guys here aren't really doing much. So he's kind of getting the opportunity to just fight them in the back. And they've all routed. I think he's gotten the commanders. And so now they're just going to get blendered on the way out. Yeah. So we'll watch this again. He got the commander is what happened. And it's actually a major task defending your commanders. So the imps got this guy, the part of the PD. I don't know, he's here. Oh, these guys in the back are about to get hold and attack reared. But how you defend your commanders is actually a pretty big part of the Yomi game. I think if he hadn't gotten the commanders killed, there's a chance Yomi would have won this. Because these guys are a lot better without the routing penalty. But I mean, they're still spooky as hell. I mean, a lot of these guys are quickened and whatnot. The ones that went in early and died were not the buff to hell ones. The ones that came in later were buff to hell. So it loses 20 Aussies to kill, about 280 Kooni. But again, these guys were doing like Horde of Skeletons. This wasn't really like mage supported army from Yomi. But still a tremendous win here for Micklin. Lanka storming this fort he's taken from Agartha. These guys blitz through the gate, and these are actually perfect to fight these living Mercury. Lots of attacks and poison resistance. And these guys run past. A bunch of imps. Let's watch this again, because there were a bunch of mages that died at the back. We kind of missed that part of the battle. Summoning a bunch of water elementals, a bunch of earth elementals, but just so many imps. The imps basically descend on the mage core and kill them. That's one thing I think you really need to think about when fighting against the blood nation that has access to like really cheap blood ones. How do you protect your mages from all the imps? Clearly something to be thought about. Micklin taking out a bunch of ghouls from Yomi. Yeah. So let's take a look at the strategic situation here. So Micklin's taken all of this, claimed it for his own, taken it from Agartha, is raiding through and taking all... Oh, takes this from Yomi. So this is where that big battle happened. And I think he's got his eyes on this one, the Throne of Knowledge. But there's a pretty big battle here where the Shadow Imp got patrolled out, and there's 12 Dione. The question is, what is Yomi going to use this army for? Let's take a look at it. I mean, this is his big army, right? Let's see how he's got it situated. Dione in the front, some sylphs, these guys in the back. I don't think this is enough Kooni to HP route the Dione, but it might. Is he going to use it to defend the Niflheim region? Right? Or is he going to use it to keep Micklin from, like, making a play at this throne? I'm not sure. I think he needs to do both, but unfortunately for him, he only has one army. So I think he picks. If he moves this way, maybe he can defend the throne. But then he's given up this whole region, which is a significant amount of gem income, though probably not that much gold. This fort's cracked, the steel oven, so Micklin's going to be walking into the steel ovens this turn. That's certainly, I'm sure he'll enjoy that. And Micklin may have what it takes to actually both take this fort and defend this province. Though this will be tricky, because you really don't want these Aussies getting surrounded by the Kooni, especially if they're supported by some of the basic stuff like Strength of Giants and maybe even Weapons of Sharpness or something. But, if Yomi has Wizard Tower, or, whatever it's called, that means he can also potentially do like Will of Fates and stuff if he has... does he have an Astral Mage here? No, but... Oh, yeah, he does. Yes. Let's see. So he can do Will of Fates. Will of Fates is really good on Kooni. So I don't know. I think this army deserves a ton of respect. I mean, we could look to see whether he has it set up to do Will of Fates, but he could put gear on it to do it. So yeah, this is a super spooky army here. And he did take this throne off Yomi, which just had a pile of garbage inside. So I think this marks an end to any hopes of a Yomi throne rush working. And this throne, Yomi decided to give up on and moved the stack down here. Now, how is it going to get back? So it's a long road back to Yomi land. I think your best bet is to like Vortex of returning it out. Because it's pretty dangerous moving through here. But yeah, TNG just completely static. I don't like this. I think TNG has to make some plays. I'm not exactly sure what play they should make. They either need to go on Micklin, or they need to eat Yomi. I think I think ideally, actually, if you're TNG, you come over and secure this throne under the pretense, if we will, of eating Yomi, right? That's going to make it so at least you get to have a showdown with Micklin at the end. You don't have to worry about a Micklin throne rush. You come over here and take this. Maybe you come over here and try to take this, you give it to Lanka. Meanwhile, you eat the rest of Yomi. And Yomi has a ton of gem income, and TNG can spend those gems really well. So, definitely better. You could argue if he's got a move where he thinks he has a position he can actually go kill Micklin, probably better to do that. But if you're not sure, it's definitely better, I think, to attack Yomi than to chill out. Sitting still is a losing strategy. Not in general and at all times, but in this case, for some period of time. Like, you can sit still for a while, but not this long. And so I think with that, the game is heating up. It's looking like Micklin. I think this is the thing. This is one of the... You want to think about how you win games. Like, when you put a ton of blood in the water and you're in position 1, other people, need to get more land. When there's a ton of blood in the water, a lot of people don't want to look to attack you in position 1. There's blood in the water with Yomi, there's blood in the water with Agartha, and all these other players need to go eat. So either they band together and try to take another pass at Micklin, which is going to feel very painful. It's kind of a stagnant game state too. Or I think what I would do in the lower positions, threaten Micklin, maybe try to contain them in ways, and try to feast while there's blood in the water, but do it really quickly, and then hope you and a couple other people get big in the next 5 to 10 turns, and then turn on Micklin again. But pretty exciting. At any rate, thank you all for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Until then, take care.